Today guys, we're back on another video and this is Naruto. What if Naruto basically lost it? Oh, no, not lost it, but I'll think of an idea, a name for it. Chapter 1, Drop the Facade. Uzumaki Naruto stood on a, stood in front of Kakashi Hatake on top of the roof of the academy. As Hatake eyes opened widely, he didn't see Naruto move. As a matter of fact, he couldn't even register the fact that he had moved. Before he could even get up there, he saw Naruto sitting down. Around 5 minutes later, Sakura in Sasuke walked into the room. Finally got to the top of the building. "How did that dope get on top of the roof before me?" Sasuke said, growling at Naruto's appearance on top of the roof before him. "Hey, dope! How did you get on the roof before me?" Sasuke said, trying to grab hold of his collar. But Naruto, at speeds that were almost immeasurable, had his foot planted into Sasuke's guts, sending him flying across the area as he coughed up a bit of blood. Sasuke was shooketh. This one guy sent him flying with a kick. He was most likely stronger than him. "How did you do that, dope?" Sasuke said as he got back up, coughing out a bit of blood. "Because I'm not a dope," Naruto said. "It's time that I rip off this mask that I've been putting on," Naruto said, as then he grabbed onto his face, as his face seemingly was being peeled off. As he pulled harder, this, by extension, it came up from his hair as well. As he finally pulled off the mask, he now had red hair with an almost hollow expression on his face. "The facade that I've had for the longest has been destroyed. You do not consider me to be Naruto, but something more, something greater," Naruto said, as Kakashi was shook. We skip towards the test. Kakashi looked forward, hoping to test his most likely future students' power, while Sasuke and Sakura jumped into the bushes. Naruto stood there. "So, he's still an idiot," Kakashi thought, as then Naruto disappeared as Kakashi began to search around him. He didn't have his Sharingan out, but Naruto couldn't be that fast. Then he remembered his sensei and how his sensei can evade looks from him because of his speed. As then Kakashi decided to blitz around himself. As once he began blitzing, he finally noticed it. There was chakra residue around the field. The 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 body flicker jutsu? Kakashi thought as he looked at it. The Shinsuin was a fairly high ranked jutsu. It was at least tuning level. As he then looked around to find Naruto, but he was met with a massive hit in the face as he was shook. He didn't see that fist come towards him. I'm dropping the facade, Naruto said, as then multiple shadow clones appeared. Flashback. The day of the Mizuki incident. Naruto had learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu, but almost 14 times faster than the original. So basically this is fucking 3 hours. Divide 3 hours, this is fucking 3 hours, 3 hours. 3 no 3 divided by 14. So he had learned it in pretty much 21 minutes. So that gave him the greatest amount of time for his activities, such as massive upgrade. Using the secret of the Shadow Clone Jutsu, he was able to learn many other jutsus, such as the Flash Step Jutsu, which was so chakra consuming that only Uzumaki and Senju had enough chakra to use it 4 times. But if they had good enough chakra control, they could spam it like the Horaishin. It was an pretty much an S rank jutsu. Basically. As Naruto disappeared, kicking Kakashi in the stomach as he was sent flying. As his expression hardened, he didn't notice it at first. But Naruto was using the Flash Step Jutsu. As then Kakashi jumped back as he knew that the Flash Step was the jutsu that Minato used to get used to the Horaishin. And even then, it was still a bit faster than the Hiraishin. But it was so chakra consuming that he could only do it one time. And that was because of his immensely grand chakra control. Anyway, as Naruto disappeared, he then planted a solid punch on Kakashi as Kakashi was stunned, but he wasn't hurt that much. Of course, this is still of in Naruto, as Naruto finally done it. Naruto stopped as Kakashi was able to finally keep up. As Kakashi looked at Naruto, he wondered why he stopped, as then Naruto held the bells as Kakashi's eyes opened widely. He was so shooketh, and he didn't get enough time to. He was so shooketh that he didn't notice Naruto's shadow clones, many shadow clones around him, which was using the flashed up jutsu as well. So basically, that was using like the flashed up to like basically throw Kakashi off guard. So he think that the slowest Naruto is the original, which it wasn't Naruto. As then smoke came, began, no, as then a faint noise was heard, like the dispelling of the basically shadow clones. Since Naruto had trained with almost 40,000 shadow clones on the flash step, which took around 70 years, pretty much 70 years for one nigga to develop. And he was Uzumaki, by the way. And his son had almost perfected the jutsu, but then the whole entire Uzumaki destruction, wipeout thing happened, and yeah, the Uzumaki clan got wiped out before they could make any improvements. Naruto, using the 40,000 shadow clones that he had, because of the fact that he dropped his facade once doing it. Because I'm pretty sure he was only able to make 1,000 shadow clones within the original. No, boy. This dude, he dropped his facade. Now that chakra unleashing. His hair is red now. Yeah. Oh. So yeah. His hair is red now, by the way. So yeah, he was pretty much OP. As Naruto disappeared at speeds which made Kakashi shooketh. I perfected the flash step no jutsu to where it only requires the amount of chakra that a genin would use for something as simple as the hinge no jutsu, Naruto said with a smile on his face. By the way, I've also perfected the hinge, and my hair turning back to its original color is a result. Well, my hair going back to its original color is a result of the perfected hinge. Since the Hinge no Jutsu is only a disguise and it doesn't have any physical form, all I had to do was create a thick layer of yellow hair above my red hair, which allowed everyone to think that my hair was yellow when it's really red. Also, hair can change colors, so yeah. As then, Naruto disappeared. As he then tossed Sasuke a bell. As he then, no, he sliced each bell in half. As he threw a bell towards Kakashi, Sakura, he kept one and threw one towards Sasuke. In result, everyone passed. We skip the 1 month missions. Bullcrap. Naruto sent clones on the missions while he performed training to better perfect all of his jutsu within his arsenal, such as with both of his Kekkei Genkais, chakra, basically chakra, what they call it? Chakra physical creation? No, chakra creation, which allows him to create things out of his chakra, such as Uzumaki chains, anything, even kunai. It isn't like it's just gonna be the color of his red chakra. Yeah, I changed his chakra color to red, and his chakra pools are gonna be fucking dense. Flashback. No, right now. Naruto was meditating as then he heard a voice. What is this bird doing now? Why is he just sitting on a rock? The voice said. As then, Naruto tried to make a link with the voice. As then he was pulled into his mindscape. As now, a cage was in front of him. Who are you? Naruto said. As then he noticed the big red beady eyes with slits in them. So you're the Kyuubi. 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 For whoever wants to be bitches and like, it's not pronounced like that, Deontay. Shut up. Kyuubi. QB. Fucking Kitsune. Alright. Now, the Kitsune Kyuubi looked down at Naruto with a smile on his face. So you finally sucked me out. I don't know how to salt me out, boy. So you're the Kyuubi no Kitsune. I am indeed. So what's your real name? Naruto said, as the Kyuubi looked in shock. He was shook. He was shook to his core. He was like, duh, 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 duh. He asked for my name. As then, the Kyuubi's fur began to turn golden. His tail began, the tips of his tails began to turn like a singe. Like singe, you know how you burn flames on some shit and the tip of it would be singed? It was kind of like a singe gold. So like the gold on the tips of his tails. The name's Kurama, brat. Kurama said towards Naruto. Good. You're gonna teach me how to use chakra. How to use my full chakra, Naruto said. Cause I know, for some reason, I feel like I only have nothing. Like if I train, I unlock it. But I don't want to train for it. I want to get strong as possible so I can leave this putrid village, Naruto said, once looking towards the Kyubi Kitsune fucking Kurama. He said once looking towards Kurama. It's over there, kid, Kurama said, pointing towards a massive lake, which was stretched as far as the eye can see. I want to see the whole thing, Naruto said, as then he floated up towards the air. As no matter how high he floated, he couldn't see it. Seems like my chakra reserves are infinite. As he flew up a bit more, and he gained better vision. Finally, there's an end. So this is all my chakra? The Caillou Naruto asked Kurama. Yeah, Brett. So, what's up with that second pond? It seems to be far. It seems no. It seems to be 1/3 of my chakra. That's the power of the person before you. His name was Hashirama Senju, and the other one, that one over there, as Naruto looked to see a pond almost as big as his. That was the chakra of my brother Ashura. Alright, Naruto said with a smirk on his face as then he flew down, punching a hole in the area as the chakras began to flood in, mixing into Naruto's blood red pond of chakra as the pond grew deeper and more dense. You're a crazy kid, aren't you? As then Naruto began to walk towards the pond. So, what am I supposed to do? Well, how am I supposed to do this? Naruto said. Never, never mind. I'll just swim in the pond to see how deep it is, Naruto said, as he began to fly, no, dive into the pond, as he was going at the speeds of a missile. No, the speeds of light. As it continued like this for the next 3 days. Naruto basically was swimming into this large chakra river. So, I have a lot of chakra, Naruto said with a smirk on his face. As he then created a mental link with Kurama. How long is it in here compared to the real world? It can be however long you want it to be. Make a day an hour, he thought, as he smirked. Now he could train in his mindscape and become almost thorough, could become stronger, faster than ever. As he finally reached the bottom of the massively gigantic pit of chakra. Under it, it seemed like the rock under it was hollow. As he began to tap the rock, he he pushed his hand through the rock as he felt more chakra. What is this? This chakra feels better. It feels bigger. It feels denser. Ah. Oh, that's... Oh, that's the... That's extra chakra because the creator of this... Well... Of this... Decided it to be best to make you as overpowered as possible within the possible future. So you're pretty much not going to be able to get into that until like the 3-year time skip. With 3-year time skip. No 3-year time skip, Kurama said, as then the rocks then pushed Naruto's hand out of it. As then it began to regrow, sealing up itself. This is powerful, Naruto said with a smile on his face. The river under this one is bigger and more strong. The outside world. Kakashi, Hatage, and multiple shinobi were surrounding a figure sitting on a rock as chakra big enough to rival the Ten Tails was constantly blasting out of his body, and it only went into 9 sections. The Ten Tails level chakra, which was the closest towards Naruto, and further away towards the 9 tails, all the way down to the 2 tails. It was a large amount of chakra just spraying out of his body. It was almost frightening. How are we supposed to deal with this, Kakashi? Kakashi said, I don't know. What am I supposed to do? As then, this massive amount of power stopped blasting out of Naruto. As they moved in, as they saw the red hair. Who is this? One of the Anbu said. It's Naruto? Kakashi said, shooketh. Naruto was really stronger than he thought. As Naruto then opened up his eyes with a smirk on his face. I've done it. I've truly done it. I've become a god, Naruto said. As his eyes now ripped a blue. His eyes were now ocean red. As Naruto's endeavor towards his chakra, or his secondary chakra, which he will get later on, caused his eyes to be affected. His hair now was as long as the picture. As he smirked. I've gotten stronger, haven't I? He said while grasping his hands, as then he slung them down, basically hitting the ground. As his smirk grew wider, he had just punched the ground. Yet nothing happened. So everyone wondered what was going on. Then they heard a large sound as a thing began to emerge. It was a small, a glowing ghostly, ghostly figure, as it was smaller than expected. So, you're the spirit contract owner that the What If creator told us to give power to because he wants you to be OP? Yep, that's me, Naruto said with a smirk on his face as he was getting more OP by the second. And that is going to be the power. And that is not going to be the end of this What If. Alright, then place your hand right here. The spirit-like being said, as Naruto then placed his hand on top of the paper. Now, push your godly amount of chakra. Who's writing this? The spirit said. Just shut up. Let's begin. Push your overwhelmingly powerful chakra into the paper so you could become a god, she said, or the spirit said, as Naruto was now pushing in massive amounts of chakra as it blew into the paper, as the paper began to glow wildly, as it then stopped. Out of the paper came out a spirit. A spirit of, well, like, you know how them spirits be? A spirit that basically was like, how would I say this? Like, it basically looked like, what's they call it? It was basically a red spirit, which basically looked like a child, Naruto. So, here's your personal spirit. As then, the person who was holding the contract, or that spirit, then held on towards the other spirit's hand, as his eyes opened and shook in shock. This is stronger than the spirit boss, than the spirit queen, Nebulas. As then, Naruto smirked. That spirit was created out of my chakra, after all. And that's going to be the... No. Let me continue. No. It's even stronger than that. This spirit... It's so strong. I'm pretty sure that it can beat the Dragon Lord. And only Nebulas was the only person able to match him in strength. Yeah, that's because he's created out of my chakra, Naruto said, as then he placed his hand on the ghostly figure's head, as he began to pump more and more chakra, as the spirit grew in shock. As his power now was so strong that he was sure that if he was like mad, he could destroy the entire planet. by mistake, by accident. He could destroy the universe by accident at this point. Naruto then went back into his mindscape as he flew into the chakra pool, as he wanted to see if it had been drained a bit. As he then flew down, as he punched a hole within the ground. I'm going to mention that he took a look at the chakra pool under the thing. By the way, he took a look at how it was. As then he was shooketh to his core. He was pulling from that chakra resource. Yet it didn't even seem like it had scratched its surface. As a matter of fact, it didn't even seem like the chakra was gone. It seemed like the chakra had always been there. It seemed like nothing happened. As basically everyone looked at him. As he looked at the results, that thing was able to destroy the universe. Our universe with almost none of my chakra. What will I be able to do once I gain this? Naruto said. And that's going to be the end of this little nasty video. It's ran on for I'm just kidding. Whoever left, fuck you. Fuck you truly. Anyway. We see everything. A massive amount of chakra began to burst off of Naruto's body as everyone stood back in shock. As a Hyuga member looked at Naruto. He has no chakra coils. The Hyuga said. It's just bursting out of his body. As then he looked down. It seems like there's an area in his head where the chakra, his head is where the chakra is coming from, but he has no coils, she said. And I have ninja. We basically skip the month time skip. Kurama had told Naruto about ninja. And I'ma tell y'all what's different from ninja and basically jutsu. Now, ninja is basically what the Osatsukis do. How they don't use any hands, but they spit in fireballs and shit. And ninjutsu is, you guessed it, the hand shines. So Naruto has been basically working on his ninja a bit, to the point where he's like, I'm not gonna automatically give him infinite ninja capabilities, but since I've already amped him up to the levels of gods at this point in time, so I'm not gonna give him more power so he could just be the most overpowered character within the fucking what if, but yeah. So yeah. Zabuza arc. I will be covering this arc within this what if as well. Outside the village, Sasuke looked at the side of Naruto's head. As his displays within the as Kakashi was shooketh. Whoa. Sasuke looked at the back of Naruto's head as Naruto looked over at him. What dope? No, what human? Naruto asked as he now pushed chakra into his eyes, another result of the month training. As his eyes turned a deep, deep, deep ocean red color. As Sasuke stood back in fear. How do you have those? As then, he noticed something. Naruto didn't have any Tomoe. This couldn't possibly be the Mangekyo, Sasuke said out loud. No, I'm not related to your pitiful clan. It's a result of chakra. My chakra levels are so high that just pumping chakra into anywhere in my body can show physical effects, Naruto said with a smile on his face. It also can allow me to do this. Similar to the Sharingan, but better. As then, he lifted up his hand as chakra began. As then, chakra, a small amount compared to Naruto's chakra reserves, burst out of his eyes as it shot towards a tree, placing a hole in it. Like, that amount of chakra was basically, imagine, 10 guazillion, no, petazillion, and pretty much versus 1 penny. That's pretty much what it took off. Like, almost nothing. As his chakra shot through a tree. As it then as he looked for it, as his chakra then shot towards the ground. As it then killed 2 men. As it shot towards a puddle. Then 4 figures jumped out of the puddle as they were quickly rounded up by Naruto's overwhelming flash-up ability. Dragon Punch! Boom! Naruto just basically disappeared, grabbing one of them by the throat as he then jumped back so quick that the one still thought that he was holding his neck. Then he front flipped, kicking one's head off. Then he disappeared, kicking one's throat, and completely ripping his head off of his shoulders. Then he disappeared, kicking one in the balls, destroying them. Then he cocked back a spinny punch and punched him in the face, destroying his face. Then he disappeared at massive speeds as he then yelled out, Dragon Boy Bungan! As then chakra, massive amounts of chakra, which seemed like nothing towards Naruto, wrapped around him as he fell towards the ground, shooketh by the transgressions. All of your friends and family are dead. Those are the demon squad. How? Kakashi thought to himself as he was shooketh. The demon squad were extremely overrated tuning. In fact, they were um closer towards a academy student level strength, but it was because of their overwhelming teamwork in their will to die. Which earned them the name the Demon Brothers. Because of their overwhelming teamwork, they were able to quickly disable strong opponents. With them being overwhelmed by their power, even though it was little. But he took them out so quickly that it was incredible. As Naruto then said, I'll scoop out your balls and make you eat them if you don't tell me why and where did you come from. Why you are here and where did you come from, Naruto said, once looking towards the demon brother as he gulped. As he then began to spill out the information while his eyes leaked tears. His brothers were all dead. That's good enough for me. Your purpose is served, Naruto said. Now get out of my sight before I kill you. Now get out of my sight before I erase your existence. Naruto exclaimed as the demon brother rushed off at speeds that he had never reached before. He was now at speeds bordering tuning and pretty much high joning. No, actually pretty much high getting as he disappeared into the woods. Why did you spare him? Sasuke said. Even though I do like to destroy everything that I see, I would prefer not to erase someone who is weak. Unless they don't serve their purpose. Naruto said. What do you mean? Simple. He'll go tell this Gato man about it. Gato will send out for more people to deal with us. Then I get rid of him. Then I get rid of every one of them. And what happens next is obvious. They all die by the hands of me. Then my name becomes popular. Then I'll have enough support once I leave the leaf, Naruto said with a smirk on his face, which was bordering crazy. What do you mean, leave the leaf? Kakashi said, narrowing his eyes at Naruto. Well, I already told you. My goal is to leave the leaf. Otherwise, I'll just be a poison. I'd just be a poison to the leaf. Similar, but unlike most poison, I will be highly toxic. Because of my childhood and my anger towards the third, I believe the next and most likely I can see him only 5 more times before I mistakenly kill him, Naruto said, while looking towards Kakashi. You see, because of the fact that my anger blossoms like a flower, I can't, I just can't stop myself from killing him, Naruto said with the smirk on his face which shook everyone. Anyway, let's go. As they then speeded off, Zabuza Momochi, Raymond Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the mist, Raymond something, the thundercloud of the cloud. You will be fighting this guy. I don't think that we need that much help. Naruto, basically, Zabuza said, and for one little kid. Besides, they are weak. Just shut up and get going. I don't pay you to talk. I pay you to kill. Gato said with a smirk on his face. Then Naruto disappeared. Well, then they disappeared. They went on the ship, then went back on land, and the Zabuza thing, except Raymond is there, happens. Ah, this'll be fun. I really want to test my skills, Naruto said with a smirk as he disappeared, dashing through the field, as he punched down with immense force, with enough force to break bones. As Naruto punched, Raymond was lucky that he had on his lightning cloak, otherwise his bones would be broken, as Raymond was shook to his core. He broke through his lightning armor. This guy's strong, Raymond said. I'll kill him, Zabuza said as he swung his blade at top speeds, as it swung around so quickly that it was now creating an air vacuum as the air began to pull in Naruto smiled. You want it, don't you? He said as he flashed up towards Zabuza on top of his blade as he kicked him in the face, sending him upwards. Then he grabbed onto his leg, slamming him down, all while his blade was still in motion. That was his speed as he grabbed onto the blade, spinning around, slamming it down upon Zabuza's leg, chopping it off completely. Oh, shit, Zabuza yelled out. Water style! Water limb replacement! As he jumped back. As then, he broke off from, as he jumped back. Then he grabbed onto a shard of his blade. Then he pierced his hand as the blade began to regrow. As he then whipped it about. As then the blade that Naruto was holding crumbled to ash. As then Zabuza broke off a bit of the blade. Then the water leg disappeared as he shoved it into his leg. As then his leg began to regrow around the water blade, around the executioner's blade. As then shot out shards of the blade. As Zabuza then put his blood on the blade as it regrew, as the shards then turned to ashes. Let's begin, Zabuza said, as now he was having his water armor. Earth style, Grand Earth or Paul? No, Grand Earth crucifixion! Zabuza yelled out as the earth shot up into all angles as basically earth spikes shot out as they pierced Naruto. They began to slowly regrow and come back into the body. Crucifixion as it brought Naruto massive amounts of pain. Shit. As he then pushed chakra to his eyes. Ninshu. Grand disposal. He said as wind began to whip around at speeds unimaginable as it sliced off Zabuza's arm as Zabuza was shooketh. As he then quickly grabbed onto a piece of the blade which was flying away with his left arm as he cracked off two of them he most likely required. As he then placed a piece on inside of his arm as his arm then regrew. As then the shard flew out. As he then cut using his hand. He then pushed the other shard into his hand as the blade grew. This is fun, Zabuza said as he disappeared, going at Naruto's neck as Naruto quickly jumped back at top speeds. Shit. I guess not using the flash step for this battle is taking its toll on my body, Naruto said as he was talking about the cut about the slash across his chest. Tell me, Zabuzama Mochi, if I crack that blade completely in half, will I be able to regrow limbs? No, you won't. You won't. The only way for you to gain these abilities of my blade is if I'm dead and you... is if I'm dead and you are the first to pour your blood on my sword. But that's impossible, Zabuza said with a smirk on his face as his more crazy side began to bulge out. The side of him which earned him the name, the Demon of the Mist. This is fun, Zabuza said, swinging around the large blade, and then he chipped it in half. Then he put blood on the blade as his arm peeled back instantly. Then there was two blades in his hands, and he disappeared, slicing. As he sliced as quickly as possible as he was going at Naruto's neck, throat, arms, limbs, and all. But Naruto was too quick. He was too quick, leaving cuts all over his body, which wouldn't hurt a ninja. As then, Zabuza smirked. Do it, Raymond, he said as then he jumped out of the way. As Naruto then remembered Raymond was there, he forgot about his presence. Lightning style, grand lightning beast, Raymond said as he had gathered a lot of chakra within the time skip. As the lightning began to fall from the sky like rain as it shot towards Naruto, singeing his arms. Y'all must be wondering, what is Kakashi doing? What the fuck you think he doing? This nigga watching in amazement. He like, damn, that nigga stronger than me. Like, cause he shooketh. By the way, Zabuza within his Woodif, instead of being close to S rank, he's going to be S rank. So is Raymond. He was already S rank within the original though. This is fun! This is really, really fun! Zabuza yelled out as he began to slice quickly as the lightning began to pour down on his blade as it was covered in blood. This is a great conductor. Zabuza said, waiting as he sliced up a tree. As he was slicing a tree. As the lightning, a massive lightning dragon, flew down from the sky brazenly. As it flew at the speed of actual lightning. As it was coming at Naruto. Naruto smirked. He disappeared, punching, as he then yelled out, I'm sick and tired of this. Flash step, ninju, grand, no, summoning art, spirit king, Naruto said as he bit his thumb, as then his spirit came out of him. As his spirit thing came out of his hand. A lightning dragon, the beast said, as then he disappeared. He held up his hand towards the lightning dragon. The lightning dragon fed into him. As then he shot back up into the sky. As the lightning bolt then disappeared. You're done for, Naruto said with a smirk on his face. As then he flew up. Jumped up. And then the spirit went back into his body. Then he disappeared with a smile on his face. Second be broken you. As he then brung back his hand. As he was ready to attack. As he sent his leg flying towards Raymond. Lightning style, Grand Misconductor, Naruto yelled out. Zabuza yelled out, as then he created the mist. Well, as Raymond and Zabuza yelled out, as mist covered the area. Then Raymond began to charge, had used the charge from his lightning armor to shock the mist as Naruto was dancing. He was not actually dancing, but he was incompulsively moving as he was jigging around, as his body was shaking. As he then fell down, his body singed. As Raymond began to breathe in heavily. Let's go, Zabuza, Raymond said as he fell towards the ground, as Zabuza fell down himself. Quickly, two masked figures appeared and swooped in as quick as possible, leaving Naruto on the ground, singed heavily. As the mist began to clear, they saw the result of the battle. Kakashi was in shock. Naruto was winning at first, but then these guys, they had took him down somehow. And he saw the sparks of electricity coming out of the cloud. So he guessed that they used the combined ninjutsu attack. Boy, this is one of my longest what ifs ever, dog. It's gonna take hours to upload. Like if a 20-minute video literally take hours to upload, this shit about to take 12 years to upload. Shit. And y'all already know your boy Wi-Fi is terrible. Like you gotta be like the nearest to the Wi-Fi box. Like as soon as you hit downstairs, it's dead ass. No game. It's dead ass. Boo gang Wi-Fi. This shit, it's just so slow. And once you hit the kitchen, it's over with. You don't have no more Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi has disconnected. It's not here, nigga. Anyway, back to the what if. We then get back to Zabuza. Zabuza. Basically, at Gato's hideout, Raymond slouched in the bed as Zabuza was completely knocked out. I told you not to use that jutsu, Raymond said, once looking over at the knocked out body of Zabuza. He had used one of his most powerful techniques, plus he kept on regrowing his limbs like this was fucking, what they call him? Like it was, like he was an Uzumaki, kept on regrowing his limbs. No, nigga, you regrowing them limbs and it's gonna have a cost. So yeah, basically, that's what he was basically saying towards Zabuza's knocked out body. Then Haku came into the room. Lord Raymond, I've picked some herbs for you and Lord Zabuza. Good. My body's hurting, he said, as he was basically moving, he couldn't basically move. He was stuck in that one position, and he was like, shit, my body hurt, and I can't get out of this position, so if I move, my body gonna be hurting even more. And Raymond and Zabuza was best friends at this point in time. Then another figure walked into the room. Lord Raymond, me and Haku had picked some herbs for you. As then Haku's sister, Hakura, Haku's sister, Hakura, looked towards basically Zabuza. As then Raymond smirked. That guy was strong. I'm gonna fight him again and again and again and again and again and again until the victor is decided. As Zabuza finally had opened up his eyes. Shut up, Raymond. Sure, you're acting like you were on the brunt of the attack. If it wasn't for me, we'd both be dead. Yeah. Both our respective jutsus would have usually killed a Kage level fighter. But this guy, it's almost as if he's used to being shocked by lightning. Flashback. Konohagakure. 13 shinobi stood over the singed body of Naruto. Lightning style! Grand lightning! Dragon! As then, 13 lightning dragons, the size of pretty much, it was basically the size of what you'd expect for like what y'all call it? what you call it? What you call it? What you call it? What you call it? It was basically the size of like it was basically the size of standard Uchiha Fireball Jutsu. As Naruto was shooketh, he was shocked. As he woke up. As he woke up in Zabuza's house. So, Kakashi, Naruto is awake. Tazunami said towards Kakashi, who was downstairs eating some fish fried rice with miso ramen. There you go. Fish fried rice with miso ramen. Then he walked upstairs. Naruto, can I ask you, how do you gain those abilities? Simple. Have you ever reached into your mind and thought, once you learn how to use chakra to its greatest extent, you then dip into the realm of ninja. Then, after reaching the realm of ninja, you train as hard as you possibly can, only to figure out that you are weak and you could never master ninja. Only if you had an ability or some type of Kekkei Genkai to control ninja. That's all Naruto said. Anyway, he said while getting up off of the bed. And then he flashed up out of the room. Kakashi then flashed up, Shinsuin on top of a tree as he saw Naruto within the field. Chakra chains! Naruto yelled out as chakra chains began to pop out of his hands as he swung them heavily. As he swung them down as they began to rip the land apart quickly as he spun them in circles and round, while at the same time bringing them down towards the ground, pulling up the dirt and such. Boom, 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 boom. The sounds were heard as Naruto smirked. Chakra chain! Reconfiguration! Chakra hammer! He yelled out as the chakra chains flew into his hand as they created hammers. Like these were not hammers, mallets, gigantic mallets, like the Holy Quinn mallets. As he disappeared, slamming against the tree that Kakashi was on. As Kakashi jumped back at top speed. Shinsuin, he yelled out. As he disappeared, then he did the body replacement jutsu, otherwise known as, what they call it? Substitution. Otherwise known as the substitution jutsu. As Kakashi looked shocked at Naruto's progression, he was able to catch him off guard. Chakra blade, Naruto said, as then the chakra chain retracted into his hand as it went into one hand. As he created a katana, he disappeared at top speed, slicing down with the one-handed style. As he had created the style, uh, uh, basically 2 weeks ago, inside of his mindscape, basically, as he swung down powerfully at top speeds. It was almost to the level of the 3-star sword style with Zoro. It was so strong and powerful that it was incredible. Kakashi saw samurai, master samurai, perform speeds and techniques like these, but they were slightly more refined. Katana, he yelled out as he slung it down at top speeds. As Kakashi jumped back, he was surprised. As he lifted up his headband, as his Mangekyo was now activated. As a word then came to his mind. Flashback. A massive amount of Naruto's blood splashed across his headband. As it began to sink into his headband, his eye felt wet, which made him basically move his hands over his eye area, which allowed Naruto's blood to mix in, which gave him a new ability instead of Kamui. Lingo, Kakashi said, as then Naruto disappeared, trying to slam his blade through Kakashi. As then, almost instantly, his body was chopped in half. It seems that I'm even stronger than Kakashi Sensei. As Kakashi's eyes opened widely. I'm dead, he said. But then he noticed that he felt no pain. Then he tried to walk as his other side of his body got up as it flew towards him. As once it got up, it was completely okay. As Kakashi started jumping up. What is this? Kakashi said. As then the top of his body flew towards the bottom of his body as they had recombined. What? Naruto said once looking back at Kakashi Sensei. I think that you'll be a suitable punching bag, Naruto said with a smirk on his face, as then he disappeared, punching Kakashi with 100%, well, not 100%, because then he would just obliterate Kakashi. But Kakashi's, he would be able to, his body, no, actually 100%. As he punched Kakashi, his body went splat everywhere, but the body parts just flew back together, recombining. Ooh, this is cool, Kakashi said, as he then realized something. The drain on his chakra had completely disappeared. The only time when he lost chakra was when he actually used his lingo ability, a side effect of his eternal Mangekyo, but he didn't know that. As he smiled, he disappeared at top speeds. Then he went in for a punch, but Naruto dodged as he flipped over his fist. Then Kakashi was thinking about it. If the chakra exhaust from my jutsu is from my my Mangekyo, which took a lot more chakra than my regular Sharingan, is up to this level. What happened? Can I turn it off? Kakashi thought, as then his vision of Naruto disappeared. As Naruto stopped just in front of him, as he was about to sling as he had his fist cocked back. Why did you stop? Naruto said, looking towards Kakashi. What do you mean? As Kakashi then noticed the difference. Naruto's basically was moving normally with both eyes. And then he thought about the Sharingan. As the Sharingan then appeared. But the drain on it was completely non-existent. And then he smiled. Let's get going. Since I have a new ability, I'll train it. Since you seem like my equal, Kakashi said with a smile on his face as he flew breezily towards Naruto. As then Naruto cocked back his fist. As then Kakashi activated his Mangekyo and yelled out, Lingo! As Naruto punched his chin, sending his brains splatting everywhere. As then Kakashi, everything then reattached. As Kakashi kicked Naruto in the chest. As he then made shadow clones. As he told them to go off and train Sakura and Sasuke. As there were 4 of them. While he was going to train with Naruto. We then skip to like a day's time skip. Because of his Sharingan ability Limbo, his muscles were being ripped apart and coming back together, which allowed for his muscles to get a bit stronger and more compact each time. So he was now sparring with non-chakra enhanced Naruto. As he was combating his fist, as he dodged, then he kicked Naruto across the field. As Naruto did a couple of back springs, then he disappeared using his flash step technique. As Kakashi jumped back. As his chakra control had gone a considerable levels up. Then he remembered that he had mastered basically he had mastered the flash step with his eyes, with his Sharingan. So he could only do it once. But since there's no chakra drain, plus he could monitor the amount of chakra that he's unleashing. He could probably do around 14 of them. So he decided to do it as he disappeared. As Naruto was utterly shocked. As then Naruto disappeared himself. As they then got into a flash step battle. But on the 8th flash step, Kakashi fell towards his knees as he was completely chakra exhausted. The flash step technique, plus he was using lingo, the ability lingo, which made him weaker than ever. Yeah. And you guys guessed it. Now, you guys guessed it, basically. Naruto quickly pushed his own chakra outside of his body. Then he began to refill Kakashi as Kakashi got back up. This training will be worth my time, Kakashi said. We then have basically the week's time skip in like in the original. Naruto, no, Sasuke and Sakura have completely mastered the water walking, and Sasuke has improved his chakra control considerably to the point where he can use his fireball jutsu on different levels. Sakura is actually useful because of the fact that she had learned hand sign genjutsu, hand signed genjutsu from Kakashi. It was nothing special, but after that she improved up on them, making them at least a low B rank, no, a low C rank genjutsu. And for the stronger one, a mid B rank genjutsu, which basically meant that anyone who aren't traversed, like if you tried to release it regularly, it wouldn't work. But if you unleash around, pretty much if you unleash a lot of chakra, you just get out of it. It's nowhere near Itachi's level of genjutsu, but it's still good. Alright. Anyway, we see Kakashi and Naruto in the battle. Almighty! No. Naruto yelled out, punch! As he punched Kakashi, sending him flying, sending him back a couple of feet. Then Kakashi got back up as he disappeared. Flashed up kick! As he had improved his flashed up ability up to the greatest level. Plus, with his body being destroyed, plus the addition of Naruto's chakra, he is able to grow his chakra reserves tremendously to the point where he can use 42 flash steps before he completely is like, I'm dead. I'm out. So yeah, it's pretty OP as Naruto disappeared, flying in with a kick. Almost 5 days before such event. Well, before the week time skip within canon, we see Zabuza and basically Raymond training with each other. Now back towards Tenchi Bridge, or the Grand Naruto Bridge. Mist began to roll in on the bridge as Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke were protecting the bridge building, along with Sasuke, as four figures appeared. By the way, Hakura and Haku also trained with Zabuza and such, otherwise this would be completely, the training would be completely useless. As the mist rolled in, Naruto smirked. Then, without waving hand signs, the wind began to blow in, pushing the mist away. He wasn't gonna fall for that stupid jutsu anymore. It seems that you've gotten smarter, two figures said. As then, Naruto then pulsed chakra into his eyes, which he hadn't used within the training with Kakashi. As Kakashi and Naruto rushed in at unbelievable speeds, which was parried with dodging and blocking from basically Naruto, from basically Raymond and Zabuza. At this point, since Kakashi's fists are able to keep up with Naruto in his basically punching power, I'm pretty sure that they're at least equal in terms of power. As Zabuza and Kakashi are equal in terms of power. Kakashi is throwing punches and attacks as he then smirks. Lingo, Kakashi said with a smile on his face as his Mangekyo is now activated. As he then charges in with a lightning blade on his hand, he has two lightning blades on each hand. As Haku and Hakuro were about to rush in, two figures appeared, stopping them. As Sasuke checked with all of his strength. As Hakuro was sent flying across the bridge. As Hakura is within this is pretty much a bit stronger than Haku. Like Haku, like this one within this series, and that makes him pretty much OP. So he is high Jonin level, with Sakura being low Jonin level. No, mid Jonin level. And I'm only giving her this because of her advancements over the Genjutsu. So she's basically unlocked the Genjutsu skills, which would put her at around A rank Genjutsu, which is pretty much powerful. It's extremely powerful. Both of her Genjutsu are A rank, and the strongest one is extremely versatile, which puts her at that title of mid Jonin level. I mean, come on. As Naruto disappeared, as he then punched Raymond in the guts, as Raymond flew back a couple of meters, as he smirked. I've been waiting to show you this, Raymond said as lightning began to surround his body. This is the lightning god armor, he said as he disappeared, ready to punch Naruto. As he punched him, he was now completely equal with Naruto's technique activated. I don't know if I mentioned this, but Raymond is pretty much stronger than Zabuza. Pretty much, he is stronger than Zabuza, and it's just not. It's to the point where their power levels are not comparable. But it's because of the fact that Raymond has been holding back with Zabuza that Zabuza has gotten stronger, with Raymond getting a tad bit stronger. A tad. No, not really a tad, but he's advanced his lightning armor, which is now called lightning god armor, which it puts him so far above Zabuza to the point where it's like he can't compete with him. As Raymond disappeared, as he's floating basically, as he punches Naruto, as he's sending a barrage of fists. Naruto is dodging and blocking each and every one of them. They're completely equal. Naruto smirks as he pushed more chakra into his eyes. As his speeds got slower, everything got slower. Naruto yelled out, "Flash step! Boom!" Flash step! Boom! He yelled out, and then he disappeared, appearing behind his opponent as he lifted up his leg, kicking with enough kick power to scratch the lightning armor as he kicks it. No, to break the lightning armor. Since basically the lightning armor is the only reason why Raymond can battle Naruto pretty much. Yeah. As he kicks the lightning armor, the back of it begins to crack as he's sent flying. As the lightning armor, it falls out, a piece of it. Then it quickly regenerates. I'll show you, Raymond yelled out as he disappeared at full strength as Naruto disappeared himself. Damn, I have to use it, Naruto said as his hair began to grow longer, as his body began to become more compact, as a small tint of red was on his body. Punch, Naruto said as he punched through Raymond's lightning armor, ripping through his body with immense strength as Raymond's arm is ripped off. As Raymond coughs out blood, he yelled out as he fell towards the ground. Naruto then pushes chakra into his arm, completely healing him. Flashback. Naruto's Shadow Clone. A Shadow Clone walked into Gato's base and told Raymond that he was going to take control over this. Raymond and Zabuza, that he was going to take control over this area. And he's already got a friend. He's already got a friend who's in on the plan. Basically Kakashi. And Kakashi is going to join him. And if he wants more profit, because Naruto said that he'll pay him 30 times what Zabuza was offering, which is a large sum of money. Since Zabuza is basically like Fire Lord level money, basically. He is like Daimyo level money. He is basically like that. He's like up there. And the Daimyos have billions of dollars. Billions. And basically, Naruto says that he's going to give him 30 times. He's going to give each and every one of them 30 times what Gato was offering them. And he's also going to kill Gato. So they're all up in his... So they're all joining his plan and all. So yeah. On the bridge. Gato and his men showed up. Naruto basically wrecks them. And as Gato looks up, he sees the eyes of the devil red and glaring down at him. Die, you bastard, Naruto said, stomping on his head. And that's going to be the end of this little nasty video.